Pledge of Allegiance for us.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, George. Roll call.
Commissioners George Salgin,
Here?
Deborah Van Essen,
Present.
David Collins,
Here.
Jeff Ayu,
Here.
Stephen Berber,
Here.
Lori Bennell.
Here.
Okay. Time for public discussion. Anyone from the public wishes to speak in the Planning Commission? The state law prohibits the commission from taking action on any of these items. Each person will be limited to no more than 5 minutes of discussion time, and the total time allotted for this discussion shall not exceed 30 minutes. Okay. Any questions, comments on the minutes from our September 15th meeting? Do I have a motion to approve?
I will move to approve.
Second.
Not yet. Oh, there it is.
Okay, this is 5. We have a major site review, SR 25-53 on 1504 Colony Road. Ken, what do you have for us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners. I'll just go through the staff report a little bit here for you. The applicant here tonight is requesting approval of a major site plan permit to develop an unattended electric vehicle charging facility on about a 27,400 square foot parcel located at 1504 Colony Road. So it's the parcel that's actually up there on the screen or on your screens. It's the undeveloped parcel that's kind of located behind La Quinta and Starbucks over there by the Jacktone interchange. The state of California is strongly encouraging and supporting the development of these electric vehicle charging facilities to advance its clean energy and air quality goals. These types of projects are becoming increasingly common along major travel routes as well and within commercial service areas. City staff believes this site, located on a primarily commercial corridor with convenient access to Highway 99, is suitable and appropriate location for an EV charging facility. It is an undeveloped site, and it does pose a little bit of a challenge for site access. If you've been in the drive-through to get into Starbucks there, sometimes it extends past where the site access would be for this site. But with the careful design that was been proposed, we think that it would be safe and functional and operational with the site layout that it has. Let's see.
Any questions from the commissioners?
There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. The project does propose to install a new unattended electric vehicle charging station at the site. Again, at 6, they're proposing to put in 6 chargers that are dual-sided, so there'd be 12 charging stations. We would have a canopy covering the charging stations. The site would be paved with asphalt. There would be a trash enclosure on the site as well, meeting city standards. There is site lighting, also meeting city standards, and they have approximately 20% of the site being landscaped, which exceeds our city minimum for that zone of 15%. As you can see, the site layout and circulation, the project will utilize the existing shared driveway coming into that whole development area from Colony Road, and will provide efficient internal vehicle circulation. The layout accommodates 12 charging stalls, including a required ADA accessible space. The site design promotes safe ingress and egress and movement throughout the facility without affecting adjacent parcels or the public right-of-way. The Ripon Consolidated Fire Department did review the site plan, and they didn't have any issues with the emergency response with the site layout. Oops, going backwards there, I guess. There we go. As mentioned earlier, there will be a canopy covering the charging stations. This is just an image of typical design of the canopies that they use would be placed over the site. And then this is the landscaping plan that they provided. It is, like you said, 20% of the site being landscaped. There's just a whole host of different plants and trees on the site there. Might be a little difficult to read, but they have a whole selection over there on the right of what they are planning to put in. All of the new utilities for the site will be placed underground. The project does include stormwater facilities designed to comply with the city's stormwater development standards. And although this facility will be unattended, it will be equipped with adequate lighting and signage and visibility to ensure user safety. As a condition of approval, the Ripon Police Department will require the applicant to provide an emergency contact for any potential incidents and to purchase and install a security camera compatible with the city's wireless mesh system that we have throughout the city, installed throughout the city. The applicant will be responsible for maintaining the site, landscaping, and all charging equipment in a clean, safe, and operable condition at all times. There is a whole host of findings in here in the staff report for you that explain that this project does meet all the required findings. And there's some conditions of approval in the back. I won't go through all of those, but at this time I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
I do have a question, but it's probably going to be, is the applicant, are you the applicant? Okay, it'll probably be for the applicant, so I'll wait.
Ken, this is just curiosity. On the landscape plan, what is the PUG? It's a
PUG.
line around the perimeter. I don't know what that stands for, sorry.
Maybe the applicant might be able to answer that question.
Okay. That is underground electrical. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Ken?
No,
Okay.
looks clean.
Apologize for not starting earlier by stating that the meeting procedure, which is to announce each item to be heard, which Ken has already presented the report. And I did not open the public hearing as I should have. The public hearing is open now. If you wish to testify as an applicant, you just need to approach the podium, state your name and address, present your testimony, and also please sign in at the back if you haven't already. If there are those that are in favor, may also speak. Those that are opposed, and you may have a chance to rebuttal if there's a chance for that. But once testimony is given, the public hearing and discussion will be closed on each item. And then if there is additional further discussion by the Planning Commission or any additional questions, these actions are final for the decisions that are made, and they may be appealed to the City Council. You also do have, if you disagree, you have the right, or the decision of the Commission, you have the right to appeal. Only persons who participated in this review by submitting written or oral testimony or by attending the public hearing may appeal. To preserve your appeal rights, be sure to print your name and address, as we stated earlier. Would you like to come up, applicant, and present your testimony? Yes, please, right up here. State your name and your address, please.
Hey everyone, my name is Mauro Gonzalez. I come representing the IANA. We're a company based out of North Carolina, 4022 Syrup Creek Drive in Raleigh, North Carolina. I come representing IANA. So IANA is a fairly new charge point operator. We were founded about a year and a half ago by 7 automakers, including Toyota, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai, to mention a few. To date, we've launched a total of 34 stations live across the U.S. With, I believe, 73 currently under construction. Our goal is to be one of the biggest by the year 2030 by launching 30,000 stalls. And really, the problem we're trying to solve is range anxiety. I think a lot of the existing charge point operators have focused on the big cities and haven't necessarily connected the points, like from point, the rural points essentially. So we're trying to fix that. So when you are driving an electric vehicle, you never have a fear of, hey, where am I going to charge next? Also, your vehicle is at a nice station. A lot of the existing stations, they put them at the back of a Walmart, the back of a Chick-fil-A. They don't really get attended. We're buying the land and we're maintaining and operating it. So that's kind of one of the big things that differentiates us from like the EV goes that Electrify America that exist.
Thank you. Any questions?
Couple.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming. The C3, it looks like on the west and north side, there may be a low-lying wall designated as C3. Is that correct? Is it cinder block or concrete or? Got it. Perfect. So I look at this project, I see all the restaurants close by. How long does it take to charge a vehicle?
Typically, it's 25 to 35 minutes, depending on the vehicle and the amount of battery you have when you arrive to the station.
Yeah, and so I went by, I see restaurants right there, coffee shops right there, where people pull over and wait.
Yep.
And they look around and somebody's gonna get hungry or thirsty.
Yep.
I see a transformer on site. It's a small piece of land. How do you guys find these things? Because it seems like such a natural fit.
We were very fortunate in this instance. Oftentimes, we have to bring the infrastructure on site. Even though they're relatively small stations, we do require a significant amount of power. This instance, it's about 2 megawatts, so you can think about like a small industrial plant type of load. So in this instance, it worked out that it was already there, but oftentimes we have to bring from the public right-of-way a new service to the site.
Thank you.
First time we've been asked that. Great question.
So I have a couple questions. So you do own the land already, or your company owns the land already?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now this is going to be an unattended charging station. And how often will somebody come around and check on it? For example, I own a commercial building in Manteca and I rent I have a couple of tenants. And we have a constant problem with trash
Yes.
in that parking lot. People leave their trash behind. So I had to hire someone to go there every day to pick up trash. How are you going to handle that?
So we start off on a weekly basis to service the stations, but based on usage, we do ramp that up or ramp that down as needed. A great example is one of our projects in Apex. We started weekly. We saw that there was significant foot traffic, so we actually had to bump it up to every other day, have it serviced. Again, it's hard to tell because we don't know exactly how much usage is going to be right now. But if we notice a significant problem with trash, like we own it, we care for it, we will ramp that up. The other question too is it is unmanned, but we do install cameras. I just heard about a new requirement that it has to work with the city's mesh, so we'll talk through that. Right now, we're using Verkada cameras, and we have in our HQ in North Carolina, we have people live monitoring. It's 24/7. So it's not like there's no one looking at them. We are looking at the stations.
But they're in North Carolina. So who's going to be here picking up the trash?
We contract that out. To a local
Okay,
firm.
okay. And then this will service any electrical vehicle. Like it's not like Tesla. You have to have a special. As I understand, I don't have one, but you have to have a special attachment. But this is not that way.
That's correct. So
Okay.
it's might be a little hard to see in our plans, but we have chargers specifically for Teslas, and we have chargers specifically for non-Tesla vehicles.
Okay.
So it comes natively integrated. So any car you bring, you can just charge up and charge.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. If approved, what is your estimated start date and how long until completion?
Our construction timeline is probably anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So they're relatively small builds. They're really quick. We still have to make it through the building review process. So typically after we get our building permit, it's about a week or two to onboard a contractor, get their crews lined up, and come out and do the actual construction. We'll finish relatively quick, and then we might wait for 5 weeks for utility to actually come out and energize us.
Is it PGE or is it MID?
MID.
Okay.
We actually did a site walk with them, I believe, a month ago, and they're ready to move.
Okay.
Do you expect that all the power necessary to be served directly from MID, or do you have any battery storage on the site?
No battery storage, all power served by MID.
As much as I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, I'm not sure I like the orange.
Is that a heart? Is it going to be orange?
Is it going to be orange? see the
There will
orange
be
shirt.
some orange.
Oh, he's got
striping on the
orange shirt,
shirts.
yeah.
There will be some, yeah.
Ah.
If you go back a image, there is some orange on our canopy, yes.
Yeah.
Have we looked at that as to how it fits into the surrounding area and the colors of?
Everybody's got their own kind of
Yeah.
style or architectural themes that they want to use for their businesses. So it's up to the commission if you guys want to discuss
think that
that
looks
more. or not.
great.
Well, it's by some fast food restaurants, which are brightly colored as well. So, you know,
Yeah,
there is that.
I'll bite my tongue if nobody else has a problem.
I'm okay with the orange.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Signage. I noticed there's a massive billboard right next on the property, actually, that's filled. Are you guys anticipating in putting a large sign, or it's got great freeway visibility already, but I'm sure you need some form of signage.
So we do, it's kind of hard to see on this rendering, but we do have a small signage on the fascia of the canopy. On the billboard itself, not really. So since we are founded by the OEMs, we have the benefit of being integrated into the vehicle's system. So when people type in an address and they need to charge, they're going to automatically be routed to the station. But to answer your first question, no, we haven't considered like putting something on the billboard as far as signage goes.
Is fire suppression required on the canopy?
It has not been flagged as of this point.
It has not been.
I will say our canopies are all steel, and even the material we use on our fascia is, I don't want to say fireproof, but fire rated for a significant time.
I have a question for you. How many vehicles per day would you expect given the 24 different charging stations and given the location where it's at? There's obviously a lot of traffic, as we discussed earlier, coming through there. You see it being pretty full daily, or?
That's a hard question to answer. If I were to, I just don't think I have the data to answer that, to be honest. I wouldn't expect more than 40, 45 vehicles a day to start. Maybe during peak travel seasons, significantly higher, but on average, not an extreme number.
Thank you.
The egress, because again, it does line up with the entry, and coming out of there lines up with the Starbucks line. And I see you're starting to be able to make that right-hand turn coming in further back from there. Is that current pavement, and maybe Ken, you could even answer that, the current pavement that's there and the curb from the hotel next door, is that the existing curb there? Is it already that wide? Or are they widening that? I'm looking at, well, even the one that you've got up on the board here. I guess what I'm saying is, this is the line for Starbucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this curb that comes here, is that already in place, or is that coming back to make this wider?
Go ahead.
That's the one that's in place. Yeah. I just didn't realize it was like, wide enough to have a couple of lanes there. I just want to make sure. Thank you. Mhm. Yeah.
Any other questions?
None here.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. I don't see anyone else that might be opposed, so we're good to go. Okay, do we have a motion?
Discussion.
Close the
Oh,
public
have to
hearing.
close the discussion.
And then, yeah, discussion. I like the project.
I think it's a brilliant use of
Yeah.
property. I can't think of anything better. EVs are coming,
Yeah.
they're probably getting a very reasonable value out of that property. Freeway exposure, restaurant, they can only bring business into town. Driving in, I was curious about the low wall because it is right adjacent to the freeway, and I don't know what the hazards are, but we haven't seen any vehicles come off of the freeway into our lots anyway. And then the positioning is all good. I look at it, I wonder, could anything better put in that spot?
That's a good question. It does seem kind of ideal for this type of usage.
Well, if you look at what the other stations that we have, I think we have 3 other EV stations now that are sort of off. And that one seems to be right, kind of in the middle. It's right off the freeway. There's a lot of commerce that happens in that vicinity. I would see that one. That's why I asked about the question about traffic. What they
Yeah.
anticipate is additional vehicles coming through there as more EVs come up into play. But yeah,
I think
seems
right
like a good
across
spot.
that parking lot, the hotel has a couple of,
Is it the hotel or is it Twisted Tulip?
I don't know. I thought the hotel did too, like on the far side of it. A couple of them over here, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, because a buddy of mine had a car in town that needed to be charged, but they were gonna take 4 hours to charge. So we went across the freeway and he did it in about 40 minutes at, over by the new car wash on that side. It was much faster. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, is there only one more site that could be developed from where we have the driveway into that?
Yeah, and that would be the corner of,
Yeah.
Jack Tone and Colony. There's a small pad that's over there by, Twisted Tulip. So
That's
that's
great.
the only one remaining.
I can't see this causing any real traffic issues. What do you guys think? I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I gotta get to the page where the motion is. Let's see. Planning Commission approves a major site plan permit, SR 25-53, to allow construction of an unattended electric vehicle charging facility at 1504 Colony Road based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval contained in this staff report.
Second motion. My computer's off. Can I vote manually?
Good. I'm just going to do a voice vote then. Mr. Verber? Yes. Ms. Van Essen?
Yes.
Mr. Vayu?
Yes.
Mr. Salgin?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
5-0. This motion passes.
Congratulations,
Thank
guys.
you. Appreciate
Yeah,
your
thank you.
presentation. Continuing on, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Zoning text amendment TAZ 25-126 for electric vehicle charging station amendment. Kim, what do you have?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners. This is kind of a timely ordinance here in front of you tonight. Basically, over the past several years, the state of California has adopted legislation requiring local jurisdictions to streamline the permitting process of electrical vehicle charging stations in accordance with certain government code sections. The laws are intended to accelerate the availability of EV infrastructure statewide by requiring cities to adopt the ordinance here that's proposed in front of you this evening for a ministerial review and expedited approval of qualifying EV charging station applications. So what that would mean is some of these sites that are developed, they were going on an undeveloped site, but some of these sites that are developed, a EV charging station company could come in and propose EV charging stations on site, and they could walk directly into the building department with their plans and submit them, not coming in front of the planning commission or going through a minor site process at all. So it's not a discretionary permit, it's more ministerial nature. Basically, currently the city does process most of our EV charging station installations through minor site plans. We have had a few in town that have gone through a minor site review, which is done at staff level, that allows us to put conditions on the project. or in some instances, if it's a big enough EV charging station, it would be a major site review, which would come in front of the Planning Commission. Basically, while this approach ensures thoughtful site design and traffic safety and aesthetic compatibility, it does not meet the new state mandated requirement for ministerial or non-discretionary review of EV charging station applications. Therefore, what's in front of you tonight is the proposed ordinance that actually complies with state law. Basically, staff has taken care in drafting this ordinance to balance the state's requirement for the streamlining, but also to keep in mind the city's longstanding commitment to preserving Ripon's small town character, public safety, and high quality of life for the residents here. The ordinance here in front of you tonight goes through a bunch of different provisions. Basically, the purpose, again, is to establish this chapter to comply with state law. That's the whole reason we're here in front of you this evening. The applicability, it would apply to all new EV charging station installations, whether in residential, commercial, industrial, public settings. It does do the permit streamlining requirements. There are certain timelines within this ordinance that we have to respond back to applicants on and either approve or deny a project. We have to adopt a checklist that was part of the submittal. It was in your packet as well. We have to outline what's required for a submittal to the building department. So that's what the checklist is there for. We do have to publish that on the city's website. And basically, local oversight and quality of life considerations. While the city is preempted by state law from imposing any discretionary design review on these EV charging stations, we have included provisions that continue to safeguard Ripon's community standards to the greatest extent allowed. Basically, it has to go through the administrative process, much like I said, and if the applicant doesn't agree with staff's or the building department, the building officials' determination that a project submitted does not meet all the requirements according to the checklist that we have published, they can appeal that decision according to our municipal code. So that could actually end up in front of the Planning Commission at some point as an appeal if an applicant is not satisfied with the building official's determination. So I won't go through the whole ordinance tonight. You guys might have some questions on it. I'll kind of leave it at that. There's findings in here. There's no conditions of approval. What we're looking for here this evening is a recommendation from the Planning Commission. This has to go to the City Council, so it'd be a recommendation from the Planning Commission that the City Council adopt the ordinance as proposed or amended if you guys have any amendments. So this, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah.
Comments?
Ken, so it says that the city is preempted by the state law for imposing discretionary design review. But then you're saying that maintaining existing city authority to review the site design or screening measures for non-qualifying projects that exceed the scope of the state mandates. So it sounds to me like if I put those two things together, is it a limited scope that we can actually come back and have some discretion over? Sounds like it's very limited. Is that correct?
Yeah, you kind of saw one here this evening. That's one that didn't really meet the intent of the state law. They are going on a vacant, undeveloped piece of property. So that's why it's in front of you this evening. This one was in front of you this evening. We have been working through another project at the Save Mart Shopping Center, which does comply with this law. So we have to process that ministerially. There are some safeguards that we've built into the checklist. We do require that property owners have to maintain the original conditions of approval of a project. So state law, say a project has 25 parking stalls that were required when it was put in. An EV charging project could come in and wipe out several of those parking spaces. You know, they could eliminate some of them to fit all their equipment in and everything. And we really wouldn't have much say with the applicant for the EV charging station. However, we can hold the property owners accountable to their original conditions of approval of a
So
project.
they would still have to meet the number of required parking places?
That's what we've built into the checklist. So the checklist would require an agreement that the property owner submits as part of the application that they're agreeing to all the original project conditions.
So that seems to make sense on during construction, but once the property is already up and running, they can't make parking places appear out of thin air. So what do they do in a case like that? Is it that they can't move forward with the project because it doesn't meet our minimum parking requirements, or is it still mandated that the project moves forward?
That's kind of a loaded question.
Sorry.
No, according to state law, with the EV charging station applicant, we cannot deny their project because they're eliminating parking spaces. So we could not deny their permit to install the project. However, we are holding the property owners accountable to complying with their original conditions of approval. So if the original conditions of approval and original entitlement that they received required 25 spaces, they are now kind of liable for not basically complying with their original conditions of approval. We're looking at, what staff would be looking at is making sure they have enough parking spaces, but also landscaping, because we can't
Right.
deny a project if they want to remove 6 trees out of a parking lot to put in their EV charging equipment. We can't say no to the applicant, but we can hold the property owner accountable. So the property owner, when they are negotiating with an EV charging company coming in, needs to know that information and work with them on a design that does not put them in a position where they are now like not complying with their original conditions of approval. It gets into a code enforcement issue at that point.
I don't mean to hog the time, but where at Save Mart, where are they thinking of locating charging stations?
The owners of the Save Mart Shopping Center lease out most of their pads. So the Save Mart actually leases a good chunk of the parking lot, and they control that part. So the owners only have one section that they control, and it's basically how would I explain it? Kind of right behind Dutch Bros. That there's a drive aisle that's kind of right behind Dutch Bros there, and that's where they'd be thinking of putting some of that.
Why not maybe along Goodwin or something?
They don't control that portion of the parking lot.
Can I do a point of order here? This is a pending application before that is being processed on the staff level that's actually not on the agenda for tonight. So I would caution the chair to save a more robust discussion about this project for when this project if it does appear before the Planning Commission. So I just don't want us to venture into areas that are not covered by the Brown Act.
Thank you.
Sure. That was more curiosity as what they were doing over there.
I may or may not have a question, depending on whether it says here residential and public properties. Am I allowed to ask that? or not?
absolutely. No, we were just talking about.
Yeah, you were going specific to Save Mart, right?
Oh, got it.
Right,
got it.
right.
So Kenny, what would be some of the uses that you would say that's under point 2 applicability? Says residential.
Or says or public settings. So basically residential, it would have to be on private property for residential. It's not going to be something you could put out at the street on city property, obviously. So these are all things that would qualify for the streamlining, right? They would come directly to the building department for a residential application if you're trying to put a EV charging station in your driveway for your personal use.
Okay, for personal. So does this open, just curious, can you drop a charging station at the end of Maple Avenue in a residential community?
Not if it's on private property, yeah.
Okay,
It would not be on government property, city-owned property.
not on government property.
Right.
But let's say that I tore down my house and put in an EV charging station there. Could I do that?
I don't believe so.
Okay, good. Okay.
Just
I don't want to.
you're gonna monetize your
But
driveway.
I saw it residential. I'm trying I'm just trying to quantify where the things could be. And then public land, I would assume that might be parks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the public lands part of that, or public setting. It's not public lands, it's public setting, so that would be more of like parking lots and such, for different businesses or different, different.
I would think it would include something like maybe the community center. You know, or a church parking lot or, no.
Possibly. In community center, they'd have to work with the city of Ripon anyways to be locating something out there.
Right.
Because you do have to, obviously, you do have to work with the property owner. They're the ones signing the application. Have to sign the application as well for building permit.
As far as I understand this ordinance, if someone wants to build a charging station and it's on an undeveloped lot, then it's going to come to the commission, correct? Isn't streamlined.
Right.
Okay.
It doesn't, in our opinion, on this, it doesn't meet the qualifications for the Streamlining
Streamline,
Act here.
okay.
So that's kind of why you saw this one this evening.
Right. And then this is another question related to EV charging stations, which really isn't part of the ordinance, but it's a curiosity thing. And I don't think I'm overstepping my bounds here. Does the city make any money on this?
No.
We don't get any tax money?
No.
Okay.
I have a question about how many could be built. Is there even a limit, or is it just based on zoning approval?
As far as this ordinance is concerned, there's no limit on it. I mean, not at all. Now, if you're asking about like the project tonight that doesn't meet the Streamlining Act, we look at that as like this evening, it's more of like a service station, right? Instead of pumping gasoline in the car, you're putting electricity into the car. So any zone that would allow a gas station, service station, would be eligible for like a project this evening that would be on a vacant piece of property.
Got it.
I just think we're going to be seeing more and more of this as EVs are becoming ever more popular. I'm ready to make a motion. Discussion's done. I move that we recommend that the city council approve the creation of chapter 16.218 electric vehicle charging stations.
Second.
Okay, the item has been adopted. We have 4 yes and 1 no. The next item is our annual review of the development agreement. Ken, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and fellow commissioners. This is our annual kind of housekeeping item that we do once a year. For the new commissioners here that might not be familiar with it, there's a government code section that requires us, as well as a Ripon Municipal Code section. We are required to review all active development agreements. Active ones are ones that are being currently built or are remaining active. There's several of them that have built out, but the time frame of the development agreement is still it's still going through the time frame. It is a 10-year agreement, so those would just still be considered active. The master list that is attached here has a total of 57 development agreements over the history of Ripon here. Out of those 57, there's 6 that remain active. 4 of them are residential agreements. You've got 2 of them that basically are fully built out, but you've got Silverstone subdivision, which is located over kind of right behind Rapona School, and the Vineyards, which is out by Missland Sports Park. You do have 1 in progress. It's the Meadowwood subdivision here, the 88 homes right off of Fulton Avenue. And then you do have 1 that's pending construction. It's the Pereira subdivision along North Ripon Road, just north of Bosch Drive. You do have 1 agreement, which is a mixed-use agreement, mixed-use zoning. It's the Ripon Gardens 2. They're almost built out. There's just 1 commercial property on the corner of North Ripon and River Road that remains. And then the last agreement is what we call an institutional agreement. It's a Calvary Reformed Church master plan. Basically, that was extended by the city council in 2019, so it runs for an additional 15 years. That one is good until 2034. So those are the 6 active, quote unquote, active agreements. We have gone through all the agreements, and the developers have acted in good faith with all the conditions therein. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman. There is a recommended action in here. You guys would be making a recommendation to the city council, or you would be directing a report to the city council that all the active agreements are in good compliance. And so with that, I will answer any questions.
Any questions from commissioners?
I just take it that from your perspective, everybody is in good compliance.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion. Planning Commission finds that the parties to each active development agreement have complied in good faith with the applicable terms and conditions, and directs staff to prepare a written report for transmittal to the city council.
I'll second.
Okay, the item has been adopted, 5-0. No abstentions.
Mr. Chairman, I do have an issue on the previous vote. Maybe I had a bad twitching finger or something, but I meant to vote yes. Can we have that reflected, please? That is a yes vote. Thank you. I'll work on my hands.
I was wondering what your beef was.
No, I'm not trying to be a rebel here, guys. I like the idea. I mean, I don't even know if I like the idea, but I don't think we have a whole lot of choice in that matter, right?
It's an ordinance.
All right, our final item is the tentative parcel map PM 25-97 for 1297 East Milgio Avenue.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners. Basically, this application is requesting approval of a tentative parcel map to subdivide an approximately 0.9 acre piece of property at 1297 East Milgio Avenue within the single family residential zoning district. The purpose of the subdivision is to split the kind of a rather large lot there you can see in the middle of the screen into 2 single family parcels, fully compliant with our zoning district, our zoning standards. At this point, the city has not received several outstanding submittals on this and the technical documents necessary to complete final staff review. These materials include agency responses and plan revisions required for completeness. Accordingly, staff recommends that this item be continued to a future planning commission meeting date to be determined. We don't have a determined date on that yet. Because this is a public hearing item, the public hearing must be opened at the current meeting and then left open until the commission reconsiders the item on a future agenda once all the required materials have been received and analyzed. So no decision or recommendation will be made at this meeting. The continuation is being requested strictly to ensure that all required submittals are fully incorporated into the record. So there is a recommended action there for the commission this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Doesn't sound like there's a whole lot to do on this. Just read the recommendation.
Yeah, just
The Planning Commission
Postpone
moves
it.
to open the public hearing for the tentative parcel map PM 2597 for the property located at 1297 East Milgio Avenue. Receive any testimony and continue the item to future meeting date to be determined, leaving the public hearing open until such date. Is that it?
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, the item has been adopted 5-0. Okay, that concludes our public hearing. Any staff reports or any reports from commissioners or city attorney? Any reports from you, Ken?
Yeah, I just, we will have a meeting this next month. We have a couple items. You have the parallel mini storage that was brought for the commission probably 3+ years ago at the end of Parallel Avenue. Their entitlements have lapsed on that project since they hadn't gotten started yet. So their course of action would be to bring it back in front of you for re-entitlement. So they're going to be coming back in front of you for a decision again, if you guys want to review that project and make a determination at the meeting in November. That's one of our items. The other one, I don't know if we'll have it ready or not for the November agenda, but State of California loves to keep moving our target on accessory dwelling units here in town. They tend to, I don't know, pass many laws every year to make us redo our ordinance almost yearly. So we are in the process of updating our ordinance, which hasn't been updated for several years now. So we're trying to bring it up into full compliance with the state law, which there's a few new laws coming into effect in January as well that we're trying to make sure are in the ordinance, covered by the ordinance. So I've been working on it a lot, and Tommy's been going to be starting to go through it here. If it goes well, we could have it in front of the commission in November, but it might be more like a December meeting, but that's something we'll be reviewing as well. Am I missing? Oh, yeah, and we do have a rezone application that'll be in front of the commission in November as well for a property at 1444 West Main Street. And possibly this tentative parcel map if they get us all the information.
Wonderful. Okay, any other questions for Ken? Okay, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Good job.
Good job, Jeff.